I had paid $18,000 for her son's private school tuition this year, helping raise the 7-year-old whose father she said died in a car accident 3 years ago. When the kid asked me, when is Daddy Derek coming back from his business trip, and I realized her dead husband was very much alive. Hey friends, please subscribe and turn on notifications, like this video, and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you. It's all thanks to you. Minneapolis in mid-January lives under the kind of cold that stops being a weather condition and becomes a physical presence. 15 below before wind chill. The lake's frozen solid. Everyone moving quickly between heated spaces. The sky that particular flat gray that means winter has months left to go. I'm 36, teach history and coach basketball at Southwest High School. The kind of work where you're shaping young people's lives and building relationships that matter, where showing up consistently and being trustworthy is fundamental to everything. Rachel is 32, works as a dental hygienist at a practice in Edina, managing patient care and cleanings while being a single mom to her 7-year-old son Lucas. Organized, caring, always balancing work schedules with Lucas's school and activities, constantly showing me his artwork and school projects and soccer game schedules. We'd been together for 1 year and 7 months, and I'd been actively involved in Lucas's life for the past 14 months, helping with homework, going to his soccer games, doing weekend activities together, basically functioning as a father figure. The private school situation had developed last summer. Lucas had been at public school through 1st grade, but Rachel was worried about the quality of education and the class sizes. She'd found Blake Academy, a small private school with excellent academics, small classes, strong community. Perfect for Lucas. The problem was cost. Tuition was $18,000 per year. Rachel was a single mom on a dental hygienist salary. She couldn't afford $18,000 a year. I'd offered to help. Let me pay Lucas's tuition. I'm part of his life now. I care about his education. I want to help. Rachel had been emotional. Said it was too much. She couldn't accept that. I'd insisted. I made decent money as a teacher with my coaching stipend, had been saving, didn't have kids of my own. Investing in Lucas's education felt right. He was a great kid, and I'd grown to love him. She'd finally agreed. I'd paid the full year's tuition in August, $18,000, covered Lucas through the entire school year. He'd started at Blake Academy in September and was thriving. Better teachers, smaller classes, good friends. Everything was working. That was 5 months ago. The backstory about Lucas's father had been consistent from the beginning. Rachel had told me early in our relationship. She'd been married to a man named Derek. They'd had Lucas together. Derek had died in a car accident when Lucas was 4. Tragic, terrible, but 3 years in the past. She was a widow raising her son alone. I'd never questioned it. Never had reason to. She seemed genuine. Lucas seemed well-adjusted. There were photos of Derek around their house. A handsome guy in his 30s, pictures of him with baby Lucas, family photos. The story fit. That Tuesday evening, January 14th, I was at Rachel's house in the Powderhorn neighborhood. I'd come over after basketball practice around 6 p.m. Rachel was working a late shift at the dental office. Wouldn't be home until 8. I was watching Lucas, helping with homework, the normal routine. Lucas was working on a math worksheet at the kitchen table. I was making dinner, chicken and rice, simple kid-friendly food. Mr. Ryan? Lucas looked up from his worksheet. He called me Mr. Ryan even though we'd been in each other's lives for over a year. Rachel had never pushed him to call me anything else. Yeah, buddy. When is Daddy Derek coming back from his business trip? I stopped stirring the rice. Turned around. What did you say? Daddy Derek. When is he coming back? Mommy said he's on a long business trip, but he usually calls me on Sundays, and he didn't call last Sunday. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Lucas, buddy, I'm confused. Your dad. Your mom told me your dad died. In a car accident. 3 years ago. Lucas looked confused. No, Daddy's not dead. He lives in Chicago. He goes there for work. He comes home sometimes, and we go to the movies or the zoo. When was the last time you saw your dad? Christmas. He came for 2 days. We opened presents together. He gave me the Lego set. Lucas pointed to a large Lego construction on the shelf. A detailed Star Wars set that I'd assumed Rachel had bought. Christmas. Last month. You saw your dad last month. Yeah. But then he had to go back to Chicago for work. Mommy says he has important meetings. I sat down at the table, trying to process this. Lucas, How often do you see your dad? Maybe once a month? Sometimes he comes here. Sometimes mommy takes me to Chicago for the weekend. And he calls me every Sunday usually. But he didn't call last Sunday, and I miss him. Does your dad know about me? Lucas looked uncomfortable. Mommy said not to tell Daddy about you. She said it would make him sad because he misses living with us. I felt sick. Lucas, this is very important. Your dad is alive? He lives in Chicago? You see him regularly? Yeah. Why are you asking weird questions? I'm just trying to understand, buddy. Your mom told me your dad died 3 years ago. That's silly. Daddy's not dead. He's just working in Chicago. Lucas went back to his math worksheet like this was completely normal. I stood up from the table, walked to the living room, looked at the photos on the shelves and walls. There were several photos of Derek, with baby Lucas, at what looked like a hospital after Lucas was born, family photos at parks and restaurants. I'd seen these photos dozens of times over the past year and a half. Always assumed they were memorial photos of Lucas's deceased father. Now I looked at them differently. These weren't memorial photos. These were photos of Lucas's dad, who was alive, who lived in Chicago, who saw Lucas monthly, who'd been here at Christmas. I pulled out my phone and searched Facebook for Derek and Rachel in Minneapolis. Found him immediately. Derek Williams, 34, lives in Chicago, Illinois. Works in commercial real estate. His profile photo showed him with Lucas. Recent photo, Lucas looked the same age as now. The photo was dated December 28th. Last month. His relationship status, married to Rachel Williams. Married. Currently married. I scrolled through his Facebook. Posts showed regular visits with Lucas. Photos from November at a Chicago museum. October at a pumpkin patch. September at a baseball game. Every month. Documented visits with his son. A post from Christmas Day. Best Christmas gift is time with my boy. Love you, Lucas. Can't wait until summer when you can visit Chicago for a whole week. Blue Heart. Comments from family members. Miss you, Derek. Come home soon. Lucas is getting so big. When are you moving back to Minneapolis? Moving back. Not dead. Not gone. Planning to move back. I went to Rachel's Facebook. Her profile was more private, but I could see some basics. Relationship status was hidden. Her profile showed her maiden name, Rachel Morrison, but some older posts showed her tagged as Rachel Williams. I searched public records for Minnesota. Found a marriage license. Derek Williams and Rachel Morrison, married June 2016. Hennepin County. Searched for divorce records. Nothing. No divorce filing. No dissolution of marriage. They were still married. Currently, legally married. Derek was alive, living in Chicago, visiting his son monthly, planning to move back to Minneapolis, and married to Rachel. And I'd paid $18,000 for their son's private school tuition thinking I was helping a widow and her fatherless child. I stood in Rachel's living room trying to figure out what to do. Lucas was still at the kitchen table doing homework, completely unaware that he'd just blown up my entire understanding of his family situation. I couldn't leave Lucas alone. Rachel wouldn't be home for another hour and a half. I was the responsible adult here. So I finished making dinner. Fed Lucas. Helped him with the rest of his homework. Got him ready for bed, brushed teeth, pajamas, the normal routine. Around 7:30, Lucas was in bed reading. I sat in the living room waiting for Rachel. At 8:15, Rachel came home. She looked tired from her shift, smiling when she saw me. Hey, thank you so much for watching, Lucas. How was homework? We need to talk. Her smile faded. Is everything okay? Is Lucas okay? Lucas is fine. He's reading in bed. But we need to talk about Derek. All color drained from her face. Lucas asked me when Daddy Derek is coming back from his business trip in Chicago. Ryan, I can explain. Is Derek alive? She didn't answer. Rachel, is Lucas's father alive? Yes, she whispered. Does he live in Chicago? Yes. Does he visit Lucas regularly? About once a month. Sometimes Lucas goes to Chicago. Are you married to him? Yes. I felt like I'd been punched. You told me Derek died in a car accident 3 years ago. I lied. Why? Because I knew you wouldn't date me if you knew I was married. I knew you wouldn't get involved with Lucas if you knew he had an active father. So you told me Derek was dead. Let me believe your son was fatherless. Let me step into a father role for 14 months. Let me pay $18,000 for his school. All while Derek is alive, visiting monthly, planning to move back here. She started crying. Derek and I are separated. We have been for 2 years. He moved to Chicago for work and our marriage fell apart. But you're still married. You're not divorced. We're working on it. Does Derek know about me? No. Does he know I've been living as a father figure to Lucas? No. I told Lucas not to mention you to Derek. So Derek thinks he's separated from you, working in Chicago temporarily, visiting his son monthly, planning to move back to Minneapolis eventually. He has no idea you've been in a relationship with me, that I've been raising Lucas, that I paid for Lucas's school. It's complicated. It's not complicated. You lied. About Derek being dead. About being a widow. About Lucas not having a father. You let me build a relationship with your son, invest money in his education, plan a future with you, all while married to Derek and hiding me from him. I didn't know how to tell you the truth. You tell the truth at the beginning. You say, I'm separated from my husband. He lives in Chicago. He sees our son monthly. We're working on divorce. That's the truth. You wouldn't have dated me if I'd said that. Exactly. Because I don't date married women. Because I don't insert myself into someone else's family as a secret. Because I don't pay for a kid's school while his actual father is alive and active in his life. Derek can't afford Blake Academy. He's paying child support, but it's not enough for private school. So you found a boyfriend to pay for it instead. Without telling me Derek exists. Without telling Derek I exist. She was sobbing now. I love you. Lucas loves you. We're a family. We're not a family. You're married to Derek. Lucas has a father. I'm just the guy you lied to for 18 months who paid for your kid's school. What about Lucas? He's attached to you. You can't just abandon him. I'm not abandoning him. His father is alive and sees him monthly. He has a parent. He doesn't need me. But he loves you. Then you should have thought about that before you lied about Derek being dead. Before you built Lucas's attachment to me on a foundation of lies. I pulled out my phone and called my attorney, the same one I'd used for a real estate closing. Tom, it's Ryan Kovac. I need to know if I can recover money paid under false pretenses. I paid $18,000 for a kid's private school tuition. The mother told me the father was dead. Just found out the father is alive, actively involved, and she's still married to him. When did you make the payment? August. For the full school year. 5 months ago. And you can prove she misrepresented the father's status? The kid told me his dad visits monthly. I found the dad's Facebook showing regular visits. Public records show they're still married. She admitted the dad is alive. That's fraud. You paid based on false representation that the child was fatherless. You have grounds to sue for return of the tuition. The school year is half over. Can I get a partial refund? You can demand she return the prorated amount for the remainder of the year and sue for the full amount based on fraud. Whether you'll collect is another question. File the lawsuit. I want my money back. I hung up. Looked at Rachel. I'm suing you for the $18,000. Fraud. You can't. That's Lucas's education. He's thriving at Blake. Then Derek can pay for it. His actual father. The one who's alive and employed and sending child support. Derek can't afford $18,000 a year. That's between you and Derek. Not my problem. You lied to me. You used me to pay for school you couldn't afford, and you hid me from your husband while hiding him from me. What am I supposed to tell Lucas? Tell him the truth. That you lied to me about his father being dead. That I found out the truth. That I can't be part of his life anymore because you built our relationship on lies. He'll be heartbroken. Then you should have thought of that before you lied. Before you let him get attached to me while hiding me from his father. Before you put him in the middle of your deception. I walked to the door. Ryan, please. I'm done, Rachel. Pack up anything of mine at your place. I'll do the same with your things. We're done. I left. Drove home to my apartment in Uptown. Sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, just processing everything. Lucas's dad wasn't dead. He was alive, working in Chicago, visiting monthly, planning to move back. Rachel was still married to him. She'd lied about all of it for 18 months. Let me believe I was stepping into a fatherless child's life when the father was very much present. And I'd paid $18,000 based on that lie. The next few days were brutal. Rachel called and texted constantly, begging me to reconsider, saying Lucas was asking for me, saying she'd tell Derek about me, would file for divorce immediately, would make everything right. I didn't respond to most of it. Finally sent one text. You had 18 months to tell me the truth. You chose to lie every single day. That's who you are. I'm done. Thursday, I got a call from an unknown Chicago number. Is this Ryan Kovac? Yes. Who's this? This is Derek Williams. Rachel's husband. Lucas's father. My stomach tightened. What can I do for you? I need to know what the hell has been going on in Minneapolis. Rachel just told me about you. That you've been dating her for over a year. That you've been involved in Lucas's life. That you paid for his school tuition. I had no idea you existed until 3 days ago. Rachel told me you died in a car accident 3 years ago. She told you I was dead? Yes. Told me she was a widow. That Lucas lost his father when he was 4. I believed her. Jesus Christ. He sounded devastated. We're separated, not divorced. I moved to Chicago 2 years ago for work. We've been trying to figure out if we can make it work long distance. I see Lucas every month. I send child support. I'm planning to move back this summer. I didn't know any of that. She told me Lucas was fatherless. I stepped in as a father figure thinking the kid needed one. Lucas has a father. Me. I'm very much alive and very much involved in my son's life. I know that now. I found out when Lucas asked me when Daddy Derek was coming back from his business trip. Lucas told you about me? Innocently. He had no idea Rachel had told me you were dead. He mentioned you completely naturally, asking when you were coming home. Did she really let you pay $18,000 for Blake Academy? Yes. In August. Full year tuition. I can't afford that school. That's why Lucas was in public school. When did she move him to Blake? September. Right after I paid. So she used your money to put Lucas in a school I can't afford, without telling me, while hiding you from me and hiding me from you. That's what it looks like. Are you suing her? Yes. For fraud. Filed the lawsuit yesterday. Good. She deserves it. I'm filing for divorce. This is beyond salvageable. You can't lie to your husband about having a boyfriend raising your son. You can't lie to your boyfriend about your husband being alive. I'm sorry you found out this way. I'm sorry you got used. You seem like a decent guy who got lied to. Lucas talks about you. He calls you Mr. Ryan. He really likes you. I really like him too. Great kid. This isn't about him. It's about his mom lying to both of us. Over the next several weeks, things developed. Rachel tried to fight the lawsuit. Her attorney argued I'd made a voluntary gift to support Lucas's education. My attorney countered with Lucas's statements about his father being alive, Derek's Facebook posts, the marriage records, Rachel's admission, all proving she deliberately misrepresented Derek's status to induce my payment. By late February, Rachel settled. She couldn't afford to return $18,000 in cash. We agreed she'd pay back $9,000. The prorated amount for the second semester Lucas wouldn't be at Blake, since she couldn't afford it without my money. Monthly payments of $750 for 12 months. Derek filed for divorce in Minnesota. Full custody of Lucas given Rachel's deception and instability. Derek was moving back to Minneapolis in June as planned. Lucas would live primarily with him. Blake Academy agreed to let Lucas finish the school year since tuition was paid, but he'd return to public school in the fall. Early March, I ran into one of Rachel's dental office colleagues at a coffee shop in Uptown. Ryan. Hi. I heard what happened with Rachel. The whole office was shocked. It was a shock to me too. She's not working there anymore. Dr. Peterson found out about the whole situation, lying about Derek being dead, the fraud lawsuit, everything. He said he couldn't have someone with that kind of dishonesty representing his practice. She got let go last week. That's unfortunate. Between you and me, everyone at the office is relieved. Once we found out she'd lied about something that serious, it made us all question everything she'd ever said. Late March, I was at school coaching basketball practice when one of my students asked if I was okay. Coach K, you seem different lately. Is everything all right? I'm fine. Just dealing with some personal stuff. Nothing for you to worry about. Was it that thing with your girlfriend? Some kids were talking about it. High school. Everything gets around. Yeah, that relationship ended. But I'm good. Thanks for asking. By April, I was fully reset. My apartment felt like mine again. I'd gotten rid of everything that reminded me of Rachel and Lucas. Started taking Scandinavian cooking classes, proper Minnesota hot dish, Nordic techniques, lefse making. The traditional regional cooking was grounding. Work at school continued its normal rhythm. Teaching, coaching, building relationships with students, the work I'd always done. I didn't feel triumphant about Rachel's situation. I felt clear about the decision I'd made. Working with teenagers had taught me that the foundation of any meaningful relationship is honesty. When kids lie to you, they lose your trust permanently. You can forgive, but you can't unsee the capacity for deception. Rachel had lied about something fundamental, whether her son's father was alive or dead. She'd built 14 months of my involvement in Lucas's life on that lie. She'd taken $18,000 based on that lie. And worst of all, she'd used her son as a tool in that deception, teaching him to hide me from his father, letting him get attached to me while knowing it was all built on lies. I missed Lucas. He was a great kid, but he had a father who loved him and was moving back to be with him full time. He didn't need a father figure who'd been lied to and manipulated into that role. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt whole. When a 7-year-old casually mentions Daddy Derek's business trip, and you've been told his father died 3 years ago, do you assume the kid is confused, or do you immediately realize you've been lied to about something fundamental? Share your perspective in the comments.